He was only 29 when he died. No one saw it coming. No one had time to prepare. Devon Hurst wasn't just another man. He was a storm, a rising voice in a broken world. And when that voice suddenly went silent, the world felt smaller, colder. His funeral didn't look like most. There were no velvet ropes, no fancy stages, just raw emotion. Journalists were pushed aside. Security blocked cameras. The message was clear. This was not for show. But what made thousands of people stand in the rain, waiting just to say goodbye? Why were politicians, athletes, and schoolchildren all crying for the same man? This isn't just a story about death. It's about a man who challenged systems, changed lives, and then vanished without warning. Some say it was an accident. Others whisper it was planned. But what happened at the funeral revealed more than any headline ever did. Devon Hurst was born in a small town in Ohio. No rich parents, no special connections. Just a quiet boy with a loud heart. At 12, he stood up against his school principal to stop a classmate from being expelled unfairly. That's how it started. He worked 2 jobs during college and still found time to tutor. Refugee kids. People say Devon had this way of making you feel important. Even if you were invisible to the world, he'd see you. By 25, Devon had created a non-profit that helped former prisoners find jobs and rebuild their lives. He gave me back my dignity, said Ray Simmons, a man who had been in prison for 19 years. No one ever looked at me like I was still human. Devon did. His Instagram had over 4 million followers, but you'd rarely see selfies or vacations. Just raw videos of broken families, stolen opportunities, and voices we all ignored until Devon made us listen. It happened on a rainy Tuesday. Devon's car was found crashed near the edge of a forest road. The police report called it accidental loss of control. No drugs, no alcohol, no speeding. But not everyone accepted that. He drove that road every week. He knew every turn, said best friend Marcus Lead. Something's off. He wasn't tired. He wasn't sick. He had plans. There were rumors. Devon had just exposed a local government scam that involved misuse of charity funds. He'd received death threats, emails, late-night phone calls. But Devon never backed down. A week before his death, he posted a cryptic video. "If anything happens to me, keep the fight going. Don't stop talking." No one paid attention at the time. But now, that clip haunts everyone who knew him. His funeral became more than just a goodbye. It became a battlefield of emotions, a question mark too loud to ignore. May 16th, 2025. It was raining, but no one moved. Over 30,000 people showed up. Police had to shut down 3 main roads. There were no advertisements, no formal invites, just one message shared online. If he touched your life, come stand with him one last time. The funeral was held at the old church where Devon used to volunteer. Inside, his mother, Lena Hurst, stood by the casket. She didn't cry, not once. "He died doing what he believed in," she said in a quiet voice. "My son lived loud even if the world didn't always listen." There was no choir, no speeches from celebrities. Instead, they opened the mic to anyone who had a story to tell. A homeless man walked up first. "He brought me soup every Thursday night, not just food. He sat and talked, like I mattered." A teenage girl stepped forward. "I was about to drop out of school. Devon helped me finish. He didn't know me. He didn't need to. He just cared." People took turns for 5 hours. The crowd didn't thin. People cried together, laughed together. For once, there were no races, no religions, no sides. Just people remembering a man who made them feel human. Devon didn't wear a cape. He never asked for attention. He didn't preach from stages or talk about changing the world. He just did it, quietly, consistently. While most influencers were selling products, Devon was selling hope. He used his fame to build shelters, fund schools, and protect victims of abuse. He once paid for a stranger's surgery using his entire month's salary, shared a nurse from St. Luke's Hospital. He didn't even tell the media. We only knew because the patient told us later. What made Devon different wasn't just what he did, but how he made others feel. He reminded people that being kind doesn't need permission, that standing up doesn't require a stage. He didn't wait for governments to change. He changed what he could, and that made all the difference. People often compare Devon to public. Figures like Princess Diana, who also broke rules to reach people no one else would touch. Like Diana, Devon walked into spaces that others avoided. He was also compared to Nipsey Hussle, who used his fame and money to rebuild his own neighborhood. But Devon had no music, no movie roles, just his hands, his time, and his voice. What sets him apart is that he did it without a title. No official power, no bodyguards, just purpose. Unlike many celebrities who donate once a year and vanish, Devon showed up daily. He didn't post pictures with poor kids. He played basketball. With them. Cooked with them. Cried with them. He was like a mirror, said child rights activist Angela Reese. He didn't try to be a hero. He just helped you see what you were capable of. That's the rarest kind of legacy. Not one built on fame, but on presence. While others waited for permission to make a difference, Devon just started. After the funeral, something strange happened. People didn't go home and forget. Instead, they organized. Within 10 days, 12 new shelters opened under the name Hurst Haven. His followers started food drives. His old nonprofit doubled its volunteers. Some even quit their jobs to continue his work. The government tried to offer a state honor. His mother declined. My son didn't serve a flag. He served people. A young man named Travis created an online platform to track acts of kindness in Devon's name. Within a month, it had over 2 million posts. The truth is, Devon's funeral wasn't the end. It was a start. A fire was lit, and even in death he continued to lead. In the weeks after Devon's funeral, journalists tried digging deeper into his final days. What they found raised more questions than answers. Surveillance footage from the gas station he visited an hour before the crash showed him calm, smiling even, paying for coffee. There were no signs of distress. He wasn't someone who gave up, said Officer Jalen Marsh, who reviewed the crash site. His brakes weren't applied. There were no skid marks. It looked like someone forced him off that road. But despite the whispers and suspicions, the case was quickly closed. Officially, it was labeled an accident. Unofficially, the doubt only grew. Devon had become a threat, not with violence, but with truth. And the truth, it seems, can be more dangerous than bullets. The people closest to Devon started keeping his message alive in small but powerful ways. His little sister, Amber, only 17, started a podcast called Devon's Echo. In the first episode, she read his old journal entries. One line hit thousands of listeners hard. If I can't change the whole world, I'll change someone's world, every day. Within weeks, the podcast ranked number 2 nationally, not because of celebrity guests or big sponsors, but because people were hungry to feel something real again. Schools began playing Devon's videos in classrooms. Companies started offering paid volunteer hours in his name. Devon didn't need a statue. He became a movement. What shocked many was how even those Devon once challenged came to honor him. The same city officials he exposed showed up at his vigil. We may not have agreed, but he made us better, said Councilwoman Teresa Long. Devon held up a mirror we couldn't look away from. That level of respect from both supporters and critics is rare. It proved Devon wasn't driven by hate. He wasn't tearing down for attention. He was rebuilding from the inside out. And that's what frightened the system the most. He didn't ask people to protest. He asked them to care. He didn't demand loyalty. He earned love. Today, when people speak of Devon Hurst, they don't talk about how he died. They talk about how he lived, how he made them feel seen, how he turned pain into purpose. And that's what makes his story different. He didn't just inspire hashtags or trends, he inspired action, and action leaves footprints that no storm can wash away. So now it's on us. Not to cry over his loss, but to live like he did. To look for the quiet battles around us. And to step in, even when the cameras aren't rolling. Because if Devon showed us anything, it's this. The world doesn't need another celebrity. It needs more people who care and aren't afraid to show it. We live in a world where we celebrate the loudest voices, the richest bank accounts, and the biggest screens. But Devon Hurst proved that a man with nothing could still give everything. He didn't own yachts. He didn't walk red carpets. But he built bridges between broken hearts. Ask yourself this. If you were gone tomorrow, who would stand in the rain for you? Who would share stories that didn't make the news? We cry when legends die. But what about the ones who live among us quietly, healing wounds the world doesn't see? Why do we wait until they're gone to remember how much they mattered? Devon didn't leave behind money. He left behind people who believe more is possible. So now the question isn't why he died. The real question is, what will we do now that he's gone? Will we scroll past pain like before? Will we wait for another Devon to come? Or will we finally start becoming what he was? Someone who didn't need to be famous to matter?